Hi guys. 6:47 in the morning. It's still Tuesday, the 18th of February 2025. So I was coming across the news feeds, trying to catch up. Apparently the weekend outing that Trump did um, was not for AP to cover at all. According to the White House, because old Gasbag had an issue concerning about the Gulf of America not being mentioned, but only the Gulf of Mexico by Associated Press. Well, they've been barred from Air Force One. They're given limited opportunity to cover news in a news feed. Basically, they're in the doghouse. And this is a way to force media outlets to either play by our rules or else. Controlling the narrative. Now, it's one thing, I've said something about that in other videos because, yeah, to a point, people have different slants in news journalism on how they want things covered. But to bar reporters from activity, reporting activity, because of a dispute, that's stupid. It was one thing when we actually had during the Trump administration one or two reporters being banned from the press pool because they were getting insistent with their questions. And it's becoming like that in the press pool in the White House. AP is one of those established um, groups out there. It's been out there for decades, well established, well credentialed, but they report it as is. It's like you're trying to tell people that this is water. You will listen to me because I am telling you this is water. It is clear. You will not disobey me. If you want to do or say whatever you're going to say on my channel, you have to because this is water. You can see through it, right? You can see my face through it, right? There is no orange tint. There is no orange flavoring. This is orange juice. You can see the orange in it. You can't see my face. It is clear. It is not clear. This is orange. This is what we're dealing with, folks. This is what we're dealing with here. When Associated Press reported that the Gulf of Mexico is still the Gulf of Mexico because there's a lot of nations, not to mention the United Nations, and the Gulf region had said this is the Gulf of Mexico. This is how it's been for a long time. But no, Trump says no, it's Gulf of America because we own it. We own it. Google went along because they didn't want to get their asses kicked one way or another. And I don't know why not. They need to be. And they switched it to Gulf of America. The Gulf of America. But AP says no, it's still the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, you can't fly with us no more. Bye. Until they say it's the Gulf of America, you can't fly with us no more. Deal with it. It's the Gulf of Mexico. No, it's not. It's the Gulf of Trump. America is Trump and Trump is America. Therefore, this is Gulf of America. It's the Gulf of Trump. Deal with it. This is how worse and insane it is becoming. Well, and I'm reading from the local news out here, the ABC affiliate, Eyewitness News. Um, First part of the paragraph was saying, White House barred a credentialed Associated Press reporter and photographer from boarding the presidential plane Friday for a weekend trip with Donald Trump, saying the news agency's stance on how to refer to the Gulf of Mexico was to blame for the exclusion. It represented a significant escalation by the White House in a 4-day dispute with the AP over access to the presidency. The administration blocked the AP from covering a handful of events at the White House this weekend, including a news conference with India's leader and several times in the Oval Office. It's all because the news outlet has not followed Trump's leading in renaming the body of water, which lies partly outside of U.S. territory, to the Gulf of America. AP reporters and photographers travel with the president virtually everywhere as part of the press pool, and have so for decades. AP journalism served millions of readers and thousands of news outlets around the world. Journalists consider the administration's move a violation of the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment, a government attempt to dictate what a news company publishes under a threat of retribution. The Trump administration says the AP has no special right of access to events where their space is limited, particularly given the news service's commitment to misinformation. AP calls the assertion entirely untrue. It also gets even worse is when Trump's trying to rename everything else, including a mountain that got named for a long time, Mount McKinley, but then there was an executive order in a previous administration that said, okay, it's no longer McKinley, it's back to its native original language, Denali. Well, Trump says, no, it's Mount McKinley, deal with it. So the reporters are saying that this is happening, are getting blackballed. We have a government system that's supposed to be working as long as everybody's cooperating. But if we're not cooperating, we're thinking like we're the rulers of the world. So much for the consent of governed. Now what do we do about it? Our First Amendment rights are going to get nailed left and right. It's bad enough when we depended upon private social media platforms to post our grievances out there. But now they're going to get more and more scrutinized. If there's going to be any negative remarks towards the administration, they are going to be blackballed, taken out of whack, or something else. I don't know. Maybe worse. But it seems like we have an administration that will not follow the rule of law. They say they will, but they won't. Because they're already attacking the First Amendment in more ways than one. Due process is one thing, and now we got the freedom of speech. But they'll support guns.